Hurricane Florence is getting bigger and taking aim at the Carolina coast. Let's take a look. That's the scene in the Outer Banks right now. The outer bands of that storm are moving in. More than 10 million people under storm watches or warnings right now.
Here's what we know right now at this hour. Florence is a Category 2 hurricane packing 110 mile-per-hour winds. It could make landfall as early as tomorrow morning. The current path has it hitting near the border between North and South Carolina, Georgia to Maryland, all bracing for its effects, including life-threatening storm surge, catastrophic flooding, and up to 40 inches of rain.
And to give you an idea of the massive size, take a look. This is what Florence looks like from space. Astronauts saying the storm is so big, this image could only be captured using a wide-angled lens. Our extreme weather team is spread out all across the storm zone, including Ginger, who's standing by with the forecast. But first, World News Tonight anchor David Muir starts us off, leading our coverage from Wilmington, North Carolina. Good morning, David.
Robin, good morning to you. And we're hovered right here above Cape Fear River here in North Carolina this morning. And here's what's new about this monster hurricane overnight. Landfall is now expected about 24 hours from now, perhaps even a little sooner. The first effects we're expecting in just hours here. But here's what they're saying this morning. Do not focus solely on the moment of landfall with this hurricane because of the sheer size and scope of this thing. It's going to be hovered right off the coast for hours, perhaps even days here. And in the newest report out this morning, those hurricane force winds are going to extend 80 miles from the eye of the storm. That means 160 miles across as it just sits there for a couple of days off the coast. And you know, everywhere we've been in the last 24 hours, families coming up to us telling me they have no choice now but to get out. This morning, Hurricane Florence is now bearing down on the Carolina coast.
I'm going a little bit further inland just to be safe.
The monster storm slightly weakening, but authorities say don't be fooled. It's still growing wider and still expected to wreak havoc. This virtual view showing the Category 2 hurricane strength with potentially deadly storm surges and record rainfall.
We made a decision a few days ago that we should get out.
The hurricane could bring waves of over 80 feet.
Oceanfront water will be shut off.
And this morning, authorities are now urging everyone to evacuate. Time has just about run out. Worried Florence will become an historic disaster.
As soon as we heard about the mandatory evacuation, it was just like, we were leaving anyway.
Forecasters now expect Florence to make landfall in 24 hours or more. As this storm churns its way to shore, the target area is now growing. And look at these images from space. Astronauts on the space station saying they had to use a super wide-angle lens to capture the total width of the storm, now 500 miles across. These satellite images showing the full fury this morning of the violent thunderstorms swirling around that clear eye. And last night, I spoke with the hurricane hunters up in the air on their final flight of the day.
The width of this storm is actually going to be very dangerous because it's going to hover right offshore for many, many hours.
Yes, sir. We do have a stalling situation, and of course, we remember what happened in the storm that stalled off of Houston last year.
Hospitals in South Carolina now moving quickly to get patients to safety. Hundreds evacuated by specially equipped buses to hospitals as far away as Florida. Another threat, officials concerned about potential flooding at this nuclear power plant in North Carolina, along with 15 other reactors in 3 states. Authorities say millions of homes and businesses could go dark for weeks. Power companies are already sending out armies of workers this morning.
I'm glad that people are not procrastinating. They're getting this stuff earlier so they're getting better prepared.
And for any families here waiting until the last minute to buy supplies, many will find they're out of luck.
They're running out of everything. There's no milk, no bread, nothing at the stores right now.
With so many already fleeing Florence, more and more residents joining the scramble to get out. Many telling me they have no choice. Evacuation deadlines have now been set in several areas.
It's going to be frightening. It's a scary sight, and it's not going to be good what's going to be coming.
This is going to be, you know, a Mike Tyson punch to the Carolina coast.
Here in North Carolina this morning, they are very concerned about that nuclear reactor I mentioned. 15 reactors in addition to that plant here in North Carolina that they're following in 3 states here in the region. And Robin, overnight, because of that shifting track of the last 24 to 36 hours, they're now concerned all the way down to Georgia. And we know that in Charleston, that historic, beautiful city, though low-lying, they're now traveling through town with loudspeakers on fire trucks, Robin, warning everyone to take this seriously and to get out.
And also overnight, David, I know that you spent some time with the hurricane hunters before they went on their final flights. And just tell us more about what they said about the size and scope of this storm.
Yeah, they do such great work, as you know, Robin. Jack Parrish up in the air with several members of his crew, and we were talking to him while they were in that final flight of the evening last night, and he told me they were looking for any signs that there might be sort of a shearing effect, so anything that could work as a buzzsaw with this hurricane to knock it down a bit, any dynamic. But he said, unfortunately, we do not see any indications that anything will shear this storm as it gets closer to the coast. And he said, quite frankly, David, we're looking at a stalling situation, Robin, which is the real concern, because it could just sit here off the coast and churn for hours, if not days here. That's what we're looking at.
And Ginger has been warning us about that for a couple of days now. Okay, David, thank you. And we know that you're going to have much more on a special edition of World News tonight. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.